As Matt counted to 24 and 25 seconds, he prepared himself to dive into the darkness, and 30, he is thrown into the darkness shooting. Matt heads towards the door of the house. He turns the door handle and realizes that the door, oh no, does not open.
At this point, we saw another possibility that Matt is not running towards to the door. Before this happened, when Matt goes to the kitchen, he just didn't wait for 10 years. There was infinite possibilities. Infinite times Matt waited for Sam and Mary. And this means infinite times happened again. Other possibilities, although Matt couldn't see it, it was clear that this was a time paradox, because God knows he wanted to leave this house. But when Sam and Mary came 10 years later, if he sent Sam and Mary ahead by separating his own changeability from the first path he followed, it would send them back to the time 10 years ago. Alone, just like him, he couldn't follow them. There was no reason not to go. It wasn't there, but in infinite possibilities he tried that too, and he was still here. In infinite possibilities he even killed himself because he had to think about it, but when he did that, Sam and Mary found a way to go back 10 years and things were repeated. And after continuing to the hole, he realized that staying there would change things, because he did whatever he didn't want to do in his mind and somehow met with Sam and getting married. That's why he waiting 10 years alone and letting them go first was actually the only way they could have prevented all this. While waiting for Sam and Matt here for 10 years, he came up with all the scenarios he could think of and realized that all the scenarios he could think of were already real in theory and had been tried, but he still couldn't get any results from these scenarios, because nothing had changed here, or Sam and Mary still hadn't come to him. If Sam and Mary finally came after 10 years, this already means that there is only one chance for them to get out and go to the cave to avoid this paradox. All thought, this means that Matt will be trapped in the hole in eternity by himself, or in his own relative eternity. It is clear that when Sam and Mary go to the cave and prevent Mary from entering the cave, Matt's endless attempts in the endless time loop will come to an end. Knowing this, Matt continues to drink his whiskey and looks at the door, knowing that he can walk out that door. However, if he thinks about this, he laughs at this awareness, knowing that he has done this before and that it does not cause him to get out of this paradox. That's why we saw in the first scene Matt tried to go to. Actually, he ran to the door and tried to open it very fast, but it wasn't open. And later on, we now see that he tried everything and everything for infinite time. He says and goes against his survival instincts. In the living room he is in, neither going back to the kitchen, nor going upstairs, nor trying to go out. He is just fun in the living room, survives only by meeting his worldly needs, and passes away after growing old due to natural causes. He now was like, don't think about anything, don't do anything. This seems like the most boring thing to do in eternity, but considering that this time actually exists only in my perception, none of this will have happened when Sam and Mary go to that cave. After Sam and Mary throw themselves into the kitchen, they realize that the light is off. The first thing Sam does is turn on the light, and when he sees the order of the kitchen as his mother used it when he was little, he and Mary become very happy. But when they realize that their friend Matt cannot be with them, this joy turns into a bittersweet one. Still, knowing that they must keep their promise to him, they leave the house
without being seen by anyone and disappears. Although Sam gets momentarily excited when he sees his mother's car coming from a distance while leaving the house. They get away from home to a safe distance without seeing his mother. Meanwhile, he becomes sad, realizing that he will never see his mother again. Looking back at his house one last time, Sam sees his mother getting out of the car and his own little self getting out of the seat. Sam says, if we come here after 10 years and prevent us from going to that cave or at least from entering it, what we experienced will never happen again. We owe this to Matt. Mary says, Matt waited there for 10 years and will continue to wait. All of this happened and you think, you know what I think? I think Matt knew the living room door wouldn't open. Deep down, Sam thinks this might be true, and his friend's sacrifice affects him deeply.